Please be advised this podcast features AI cloned voices created with human oversight. All content is reviewed by experts for accuracy and relevance. Welcome back to IADS Retail Park, where we go beyond headlines to explore the real shifts shaping the world of department stores and retail. I'm Maya, and if you follow the show, you'll know today's guest. Dr. Christopher Nee is back with us. He's the author behind several IADS exclusives and a keen observer of how retail jobs, roles, and organizations are changing. Christopher, it's good to have you back on the show. How have you been?
Thanks, Maya. It's great to join you again. Things have been busy. There's so much happening in retail at the moment, especially around the future of work and jobs. I'm glad we're having this conversation.
We are too. And before we dive in, just a quick note, the research and examples we'll be drawing on today come from work done in 2021. So some of the numbers and immediate context reflect that time, but a lot of these dynamics are still playing out as retail moves through this big transitional phase. Let's set the scene. For decades, we've talked about retail jobs as if they're set in stone. Sales assistants, cashiers, merchandisers, maybe some managers, but now everything seems to be up for grabs. What's actually changing in the world of retail work?
That's a good place to start. We're seeing two major trends. First, there's a move away from traditional store-based roles towards jobs that are much more about technology and fulfillment. Think logistics, click and collect, customer support for online orders. At the same time, there's a broader reassessment of what work even looks like in retail. Jobs are being deconstructed, broken down into smaller tasks or even automated, and then sometimes rebuilt or rebundled for new business models.
So it's not just about cutting jobs or moving everything online. There's this in-between phase where companies are really rethinking the whole operating system of retail work.
Exactly, Maya. The pandemic accelerated this, but it's also part of a longer-term economic shift. You see entry-level roles, especially in physical stores, are declining. In 2020, 177,000 UK retail jobs were lost, with another 200,000 projected in 2021, especially among sales assistants and checkout staff. Meanwhile, the relative number of order fulfillment jobs and technical roles is rising. Retailers are looking for people who can work well with automation or offer a level of customer service that's more like a concierge than a classic sales associate.
And it's not just technology driving this, is it? There's also a political and social piece with rising discussions on unionization and wages.
That's right. There's now more political will to improve wages in classically low-paid jobs like retail and fast food. In the US, for example, there's pressure from the top down with infrastructure spending, union advocacy, and some big retailers like McDonald's and Walmart starting to rethink how they structure careers and pay. But technology is the other huge force. Automation, AI, and data are fundamentally changing how tasks are organized and what roles need to exist. The real challenge for retailers is finding a new productivity deal that works both for employers and for workers in an omni-channel world.
That makes me wonder about what happens next. If store-based business shrinks and online business grows, how do profitability and organizational models have to change?
There's a lot of tension. Store-based business is shrinking relative to online operations. And a lot of traditional models don't really add up anymore. Companies are under pressure to simplify, automate, and get more productive while still offering real value to customers and hopefully more rewarding roles for employees.
You've written about this idea of unbundling retail jobs, which comes from tech. Can you explain what that means in practice?
Sure, unbundling is about taking a job, a sales associate, a merchandiser, a buyer, and breaking it down into smaller units or tasks. Some tasks can be automated, some can be given to gig workers, and some might be recombined into new, more specialized roles. This is a big shift from the old one job, one person model. Instead, you end up with teams formed around specific projects or skills, not just fixed job descriptions. It gives businesses much more agility, but also means everyone from HR to frontline staff needs to keep learning and adapting.
It reminds me a bit of what's happened in other industries, music, media, even finance. The big question is, will the companies that are breaking up their old models also be able to rebundle when the time is right, or will that be left to new players?
That's exactly the right question. As you pointed out, we've seen it in music. First, everything got unbundled into single tracks. Then new players like Spotify rebundled music into data driven, curated experiences. Retail might be heading in the same direction, breaking jobs apart now, but eventually creating new, more personalized or data driven models for service and operations.
Let's talk about what this looks like on the shop floor. Which tasks are actually being automated and which still need the human touch?
Some jobs, like merchandise planning, are highly automatable. Others, like supplier management or space planning, are more complex and need human judgment. We're also seeing HR functions being split up. At Magasin du Nord, for example, they're classifying jobs into automatable and non automatable categories, while Falabella has bots handling routine HR queries for staff. For department stores, roles are being split or redesigned. Sales staff versus replenishment staff, buyers and planners as distinct jobs, and marketing divided into brand and data. Some of these splits have even been reversed as stores learn what works and what doesn't.
It's interesting how trial and error is a part of this. Companies try splitting roles, then sometimes bring things back together if it makes more sense. There's a sense of ongoing experimentation.
You're absolutely right about that, Maya. The key is staying adaptable. The roles that survive will often be higher skilled, better paid, and more focused on customer experience or tech enabled productivity.
With so much in flux, what do you think leaders in retail should prioritize as they rethink job models and workforce structure?
First, leaders need to move beyond thinking about the workforce as just employees. Deloitte calls it the workforce ecosystem, mixing permanent staff, gig workers, automation, and outside partners. Second, upskilling and reskilling need real investment, especially as automation takes over routine work. Third, more human centric leadership is vital. Managers must connect people, foster collaboration across functions, and keep reinventing how teams are put together.
So it's not just about technology or cost, it's also about skills, culture, and making work more engaging and productive for people. There's also a lot of uncertainty. No one's got the perfect answer yet.
That's a great point. We're navigating through a turbulent time, but there are significant opportunities for companies that can figure it out. Over time, like we've seen in other industries, we might see various aspects of work get rebundled, maybe around customer journeys, data, or specialized skills. The companies willing to experiment now will likely be the ones that benefit the most in the long run.
We've covered a lot: technology, new political pressures, deconstruction and rebundling of jobs, what leaders need to keep in mind. Is there one idea you want listeners to remember as they think about the future of retail work?
If I had to sum it up, I'd say be proactive. Don't wait for outside forces to force a change. Start testing new models for jobs, leadership, and skills now. The old definitions are breaking down, and future success will come to those who can adapt and reshape the model, not just react to change as it happens.
Christopher, thanks so much for sharing your insights and for coming back on the show.
Thanks, Maya. It's always a pleasure, and I look forward to coming back with more updates as this field keeps evolving.
Thanks to everyone for tuning in. We'll be back with more conversations on retail's big shifts right here at IADS Retail Park.
If you found today's conversation valuable, please subscribe, rate us on your favorite platform, and share this episode with your team. Catch our exclusive industry updates and more deep dives on LinkedIn and Substack.
Stay tuned for new episodes on the IADS Retail Park. See you next time.